Ms. Van Duyne.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I request an unanimous consent to insert for the record a campus-wide email that Cornell President Martha Pollack sent on May 14th, 2024.
Without objection.
Thank you. I'd like to read a short excerpt from it. Dear Cornellians, last evening the Coalition for Mutual Liberation voluntarily took down their encampment on the Arts Quad. While I do not condone the encampment, which was in clear violation of university policies, I want to acknowledge and express gratitude that in contrast to what has taken place at some other universities, the participants here remained peaceful and nonviolent throughout, and for the most part, they tried to minimize the disruption caused. With this in mind, and provided no further violations of university policy occur, we are able to pause on issuing additional suspensions and disciplinary referrals. The participants in the encampment shared that members of our Jewish community who have criticized Israel have been targeted with slurs, which not only is deeply offensive, but also trivializes the memory of the Holocaust. Other students involved in the encampment shared experiences of being called terrorists over the past few months in an expression of anti-Arab discrimination and hatred. No matter one's political beliefs, using such rhetoric which questions the basis of someone's religious, cultural, ancestral, or any form of identity is unacceptable. And I implore everyone in our community to think carefully about their words, end quote. It's disappointing that after the chaos and the distress that were caused by mobs of students who set up illegal encampments that raged with anti-Semitism across the country, and Ms. Dorr, you described this as anything but peaceful and non-disruptive. But it's disappointing that one of President Martha Pollack's last acts as the president of Cornell University is to express concern that a single student in the encampment says that they were called a slur after Jewish students on Cornell's campus feared for their lives after numerous death threats and harassment that raged for months without end. Mr. Orr, I want to thank you again for taking the time to testify before this committee. Can you please share with us how you felt when you received this email? And how did you feel when you read that the president of your university said that the encampment participants here remain peaceful and nonviolent?
Congresswoman, it's great to see you, and I really appreciate this question because this email was actually the moment I decided not to attend my graduation. This is laughable. I've spent the past 8 months being called a Nazi because I believe in the existence of the state of Israel. And for her to protect students, falsely mischaracterizing Israel defending itself as a genocide in the name of trivializing the Holocaust is laughable and shameful. I also want to bring up a point that you mentioned in that email. She said, a Jewish student that criticized Israel. No, these students call for the complete elimination of the Jewish state and every single Jew inside of it. They are calling for a Jewish genocide. Also, she mentioned that these students have been referred to on campus as terrorists. These students are openly supporting the PFLP, Hamas, and Hezbollah. They are also regularly terrorizing Jewish students on campus by threatening them and intimidating them. It's no surprise that Martha Pollack protects the students behind the encampment when $1.8 billion are funneled into Cornell by United States adversaries.
I appreciate your comments. We've had a lot of discussion now about some of the lack of actions that were taken against not just the students, but other faculty. And you mentioned specifically Russell Rickford. I understand that he was on paid leave. I also understand that he's coming back to campus to teach next semester. Your comments on how to handle that is quite clear. And I think as a committee, looking at universities and whether or not they are teaching anti-American hate, whether they are teaching things that are specifically aimed at creating distrust, division, violent outbursts that are being promoted by their own professors, their own administration, I think that's something that we have to take seriously. Whether or not that's on campus or off campus, if they are putting out stories, if they are putting out articles, yes, while that may not have been written on campus, it does say a lot and it does reflect a lot on the university. And whether or not these universities are actually upholding a pro-America position, and yet they're getting taxpayer-funded dollars, and they're also getting tax-exempt status And I know that this is something that the chairman takes seriously, has spent a lot of time looking into, and that as a committee we're going to continue to look into. So again, thank you very much, and I yield back my time.